Well, let's talk now to Ahmed Al-Burai, who's following the story from Ankara, and to Courtney Keeley on the ground in Hatay. Let's begin with the Turkish capital with Ahmed. First of all, breaking news as we come on air on US policy on giving weapons to the YPG. What more can you tell us?
Well, Jimmy, Ibrahim Kalin, the presidential spokesman, just spoke to the national security, the American national security advisor, McMaster, who confirmed that the United States should not supply the YPG with more weapons. This is the last confirmation coming from the United States, though these kind of statements have been coming from different parties for the past few months or so. Still, here in Ankara, the Ibrahim Kalin, we didn't hear from him what's the reaction from the officials from Ankara about this kind of statements.
What is the significance of this statement?
Well, for Ankara, what is more important is that the United States starts saying one kind of rhetoric. The problem here from Ankara, as we've been speaking to most of the officials on the ground, that sometimes these kind of statements are contradicting, coming from the Pentagon, the White House, the different kind of conflicting statements. They've been the officials in the White House confirming that these kind of weapons will not be supplied to the YPG. They've also promised Turkey that these kind of arms are going to be withdrawn from the YPG as far as Daesh is defeated. Now, in Ankara, they have a kind of a skepticism in these kind of attitudes coming from Washington, as none of these promises have been fulfilled on the ground. The unilateral actions of the United States forced Ankara to move ahead with this kind of operation. That's also what the NATO officials are saying, is same as Sergei Lavrov of Russia, who said that these kind of unilateral actions, mainly in Syria, in this region, frustrated Ankara and pushed it towards taking these kind of offensive across its border.
And what is the Turkish government saying about the timeline of the current operation?
Well, the president always reiterates, Jimmy, that this is going to finish soon, but it's not. Still, it's the same. He's always keep reminding the United States of their operation 15 and 17 years ago in Iraq and in Afghanistan. He always saying to them, when did the operation in Afghanistan finish? Did you withdraw from Iraq as well? So the operation is going to continue, as the president and all the officials here in Ankara are saying, till they neutralize the last element of the terrorist organization inside Afrin and bring back stabilization to the refugees, taking them back to the safe zone that Ankara is trying to establish in the same region as they did in 2016 with the Euphrates Shield operation, when they defeated and cleansed their border from the Daesh elements.
Let's look ahead and just consider for a moment who would ultimately be the caretaker of any safe zone if an agreement is reached.
That's the elephant in the room, to be honest, Jimmy. The Ankara always saying that it's not interested in staying in Syria. It doesn't extend its eyes to any other soil. Who's going to be there? It's very clear. The strategy of Ankara here is very clear, as the officials are saying. It's the same as the Euphrates Shield. The first is to clean all the border and cleanse it from all the terrorist organizations. Then you bring stability and try to bring back these kind of lands that have been destroyed by these elements to be once again inhabitable, where people can live in, livable, and then after that empowering the local councils inside these cities so they can take care of the conditions there. Ankara is saving now with the Red Crescent, with the AFAD, the emergency authority here in Turkey, a number of refugee camps, to these displaced people. In the coming future, in case this operation succeeds in cleansing all these elements, a safe zone is going to be established for 30 kilometers at least, as the officials always say, and then the local councils are going to be empowered, humanitarian aid are going to be allowed there, people are going to go back to their houses they've been forced out from.
Ahmed Al Burai in Ankara, thank you. Let's talk to Courtney Keeley now, who's on the ground.